3, 2, 1, 0.
An aspect of what John Michel always said, that there's enchantment within the landscape. The ancients understood it. They built these sites to maintain this enchantment, and it's up to us now to continue this enchantment and bring back this magical sense to the world. So thank you very much for listening.
I get asked all the time. Well, if these people are so advanced, why can't we see signs of advanced technology? Why can't we see like computer chips and cell phones and things like that? And I just look at these people and I go, dude, are you brain damaged? What's wrong with you, really? Because if you use cell phones and computer chips as indicators of highly advanced technology, then you clearly have missed the plot. Because
the Mount Kuringggai oval boomerangs on Sydney's North Shore, New South Wales. A small ancestral engraving site partly destroyed by the construction of the freeway. It has 5 figures including 2 boomerangs, which are not in outline but have pecked surfaces. One of the 2 boomerangs are weathered but still visible. That's why this is important to expand our understanding of this sacred space before it is lost forever. This is a part of the energetic sciences and practice of the ancestors, and this is to improve future research, interpretation and understanding. And this sacred space is beyond the regurgitated colonial academia assumptions.
If I set this going, this one will pick up the vibration by resonance. If I set this going, this one will pick up the vibration by resonance.
An entoptic phenomena is something that's associated with altered states of consciousness. Basically, you got symbols that you see in your cerebral cortex, in your mind's eye. As you go into altered states of consciousness, they would be chevrons, little inverted V's. You'd have concentric circles, semicircles, spirals. You'd have all these weird symbols.
The Coringi oval ancestral engraving site was an acoustic machine as well as astronomical. It was a device that generates sound using naturally occurring elements or processes like wind, water and vibrations from the environment, creating music or soundscapes. The energy generated within the Coringi oval ancestral engraving site would help to induce altered states of consciousness. The practice and part of the design's purpose was aimed to alter the natural sounds generated from the ancestors and the medium they created and natural mediums placed on themselves and throughout the area. They were focusing on capturing and channeling the energy rather than significantly losing it to the atmosphere, similar to the way artists might use such a machine to create installations or performances that highlight the ambient sounds in a given environment. And that's what the energetic practice and science of learning their whole lives was all about, how to become coherent. This is important to understand the mechanics within the ancestral engraving site layout. They were finding these natural energetic sacred places within the kuringggai area and amplifying the sites, and then practicing and perfecting their experiences at exploring the spiritual realm via altered states of consciousness, and then explaining the visions that they experienced so that the next ancestor could come to the same site and experience the same process via visual brainwave entrainment. Once the system and medium of the site and area was activated by mass flow of energy into the system with high energy to enable the system to be able to exchange some of that energy with its internal surroundings.
Exchanging energy and information with our environment. The electromagnetic fields, possible toxic earth energies. We are an open energy system, constantly exchanging energy and information with our environment. The electromagnetic fields, possible toxic earth energies.
Tool that radiates, that creates energy, that gives off resonance. A tool that radiates, that creates energy, that gives off...
The ancestral engraving site was utilised to engineer vibration to create resonance. The ancestors' brainwaves frequency changed according to the kuringggai oval ancestral engraving site. The adornments that they wore and vibrations and piezoelectricity was all a part of their ancient practice, which was a part of the process here. The stories are the blueprint, the sites are the experiments, the body is the conclusion. The boomerangs that you see and the mundu's toes are examples of pure entoptic imagery. This is a vision, not a story, and generations after this site was established, they would activate and use the same imagery again and again to help trigger altered states of consciousness and also lucid dreaming while at this site. While in a trance experience they would visualize the images. A trance is an altered state of consciousness in which a person is more receptive, which help the ancestors progress further into trance and focus on a single task or idea, being the images. Trance states were induced by a variety of methods, including chanting, singing, fasting, and sleep deprivation. Brain imaging studies have shown that the auditory cortex, right parietal, right frontal, and area postriata are activated during a trance. You stop regrooving and singing and vibrating this site, you stop regenerating the energy out from the kuringggai oval ancestral engraving site. It's a fact that matter can be manipulated by sound vibration, and the ancestors who would use the kuringggai oval engraving site were aware of this and the impact it has on themselves and their surroundings. That's why they revisited this site and maintained a good regeneration and activation practice. It was not used for the purpose for bringing your kids to show them the same old story of some man generations before explaining how great his hunting expedition went that day. After 3 or 4 times, they'd be sick of hearing the same old story. This is the energetic science of the ancestors, and it cannot be explained with a materialistic understanding of things. Whether in stories, rock art, carving grounds, if they are using animals, implements or ornaments, it is symbolically referencing energy to describe their energetic science and consciousness code, sound, frequency and synchronicity.
Always said that there's enchantment within the landscape. The ancients understood it. They built these sites to maintain this enchantment, and it's up to us now to continue this enchantment and bring back this magical sense to the world. So thank you very much for listening.
Yeah, it's very true, but we need people who can read that book.